You also talk about, and you mentioned this earlier on. I want to loop back around on double click on it. You say always take several bites of the same apple. That's sometimes the best way. And I love what you said there, because it's a beautiful, and you come up with some of the best analogies, by the way, but it gets people to understand, when I sell it, I can sell it once, and I can sell it a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And I'd love for you to just unpack that, because I think some people, myself, when I had my exit, I only really sold it once. I didn't sell it to anybody external. It was someone internal, and they brought in some LPs and they bought me out basically. And I was like, okay, cool. And it was an earnout. But obviously from this strategy, I'm realizing, now I'm deploying capital. I'm realizing, there's a lot of different opportunities where you can obviously have this kind of extrapolated process. And even though it sounds really simple, it's funny if you don't come from this world, you go, I'd never thought of it that way. And so I'm guilty of doing it. And that's why I thought it really hit me very strong.
That's why I write my books. It's like I'm trying to educate people, get them to see differently. So most entrepreneurs in life see an exit as a one and done event. And you know what? PE firms see it as a one and done event too, because it's their hold period, and they're going to sell it, move on, and then buy something else. But as an entrepreneur who leads a business or builds a business, I tell people that selling your company doesn't have to be the end of the road. It's the first rest stop on your wealth creation highway. So what happens? If an entrepreneur thinks of selling a business as one and done, so they sell their company to me, I give them a wheelbarrow full of gold. They take it, they go home. And now they think, what do I do now? What do I do next? What's the next thing I can create? But they're going back to zero, and maybe they've had some success. And so as a result of that, maybe they're more programmed for future success, but I got to recreate the wheel. And I tell people, you just spent 10 years, 20 years building a great business. Why think of it as being done? Let's look at it as an exercise in asset diversification and keep on running that business. Now do it as a minority shareholder, and let's build it with other people's money, institutional capital, where I can grow faster, I can accelerate the pace of growth, and then let's sell it again. And when they leave and another party comes in, I could roll over again, and I could do it a third time. My personal record's 5 paydays, one company, 13 years. And so a lot of people, I call it the accidental arrogance of success. So entrepreneurs who are successful they beat the odds. Only 7% of companies in the US, of those 33 million small companies, ever get to $1 million in revenue. Only 4% of those ever get to 10 million. Only 3,000 companies with $1 billion. And so when I get some success, I now get a little bit of this accidental arrogance of success, where I'm God's gift, and I hear this a lot. Look, if I'm not going to have control, I don't want to have anything to do with this company. It's like, I'm God's gift. I'm not going to be subservient or answer to anyone. And then I always think about, one of the richest men on the planet is a guy named Jeff Bezos. And if you look at the latest filing, you'll find that Jeff Bezos owns, I think it's 10.9% of Amazon, which means that the world's richest guy, somebody else owns 90%, 90, or 89 or whatever it is, of his company. He owns, 10.9, and somebody else owns the rest. If it works for the richest guy in the world, it can work for you too.